Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hi there.
So we've been snowed in today. We're just doing one video after another in between people,
And it's pure fun.
in between Vedic charts mostly.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So we're looking at the layout of Washington, D.C. there. Oh, I could see a pyramid in there. I could see a pentagram in there. I could see all sorts of stuff right in there. Well, no doubt, because it was basically all planned by these secret societies. And, you were referencing before how it was laid according to Vedic astrology.
It was the very first brick on the White House was planted based on the hour, or they call it a hora, for the maximum benefit of that building.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. We're going to skip by that one. What does the capital, right? What does Washington, D.C. have in common with London and with the Vatican?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have their hands up out there?
Pick me. Oh, pick me.
Okay, what's you? What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're not nice places.
Well, they're actually all corporations. So they're all incorporated. And they're actually not parts of their country. So, like, the Vatican is not really part of Italy. It's its own thing. It's its own separate entity. London, in a sense, is not really a part of the rest of the UK. It's its own separate entity as well. And then Washington, D.C., the same thing. Isn't that curious? Another curious things, remember all those obelisks that kept popping up everywhere? Mm-hmm. Well, we see one in London, we see one in D.C., we see one in the Vatican. Mm-hmm. Interesting. What are they doing with these obelisks? What are they symbolizing? Everything is symbols to the secret societies. So, we see the city of London, again, not any part of England. It's the financial capital of the powers that be. The Vatican City, not part of Italy. Yeah, it's the religious capital. Mm-hmm. As we said, when you look at it, the amount of people in the world that follow the Abrahamic traditions is more than half of the global population. And you have 1.3 billion people that are Catholic. And you have another 1.3-ish billion, a little bit less, that follow other forms of Christianity. But they're all basically using the same scriptures. For the most part, they don't have the pseudepigrapha in them, but they have the other texts, and there you got the military powerhouse, or what has been, which, I don't know. Maybe they're going to uproot this obelisk. Maybe they're going to bring it to the fine dining country, China, and maybe they're just going to plant an obelisk right there in the middle of Beijing.
Maybe it's just a giant antenna.
Interesting, isn't it? Isn't it interesting? The U.S., has been, and Washington, D.C., the Pentagon. There you go. Pentagon, pentagram. It's been the military capital. As we had talked about, in 2017, the U.S. was in over 90% of the countries militarily, of the entire globe. How many people out there realize that the U.S. was in like 156 countries, something like that? 156 different countries? Talk about an empire. But see, we don't see that side of it. Most people don't see that side of it, don't see the connection going on. It's definitely a power grid. It has been a power grid. Question is that grid fractioning and starting to break up?
I would hope so. I mean, I don't like to see these things powerful and stuck together.
Again, if you are in the minority, if you're in the extreme minority, the way to control the majority is through these massive power structures. Do it in such a way that they don't even know it's happening. Create the illusion of separateness between different countries, when in reality, it's a corporate world.
Well, as above, so below. So you create this illusion, but then you also create circumstances where people kind of go against each other, so they tattle on each other.
Yes, exactly. So, this is the Roman Empire. It's never left. It's never left. And in fact, there are those that will say that the U.S. is still part of the British Empire. And the British Empire, well, we know there was a Lord Redshield, right? R-O-T-H, Childs, that said, I don't care who's on the throne. He who controls the monetary system controls reality. And that is a true statement. This has morphed, and it's gone down throughout time, but in reality, nothing ever changes. We have the Charter of Virginia, 1606. James, by the grace of God, King of England. Scotland, France, and Ireland, defender of the faith. That's key, too. Anyway, so, this is a charter, and this is, basically granting to the people that are going to be going over to what's going to become the colonies and then the U.S. of A., well, the right to go and steal the lands of the natives that are there. That's really what it is, the Charter of Virginia. And by the way, this is the same guy that we get the King James Bible from. Yep. Again, by the grace of God, defender of the faith, King James.
Well, and what kind of bothers me is these people that are in high status and they go and they steal these lands. They call the Native Americans the savages when they're the ones, raping, plundering, pillaging the land.
Yeah, but everything in this system has been back-assward. It's just the way it's laid out, so, the Vatican's actually its own nation. But here you have the Charter of Virginia again. It's okay. I mean, he's by the grace of God, he's the defender of the faith, and he's the king. So, whatever he says must go. He must be a righteous man because of his, his religious upbringing. He's a man of God, and he's sending people off to conquer another land and to put it under subjugation of the throne. And by the way, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, 90% of your land is still owned by the throne.
Yep, it's terrible, but it's true.
And as we see here, the Act of 1871, it comes up time and time again. We talked about A. Pike, and we talked about the Banking Act, what we have going here. And we've talked about USA Inc., and we have the actual codes and stuff that you could delve into. Look for yourself. This is the reality that we have. Everything's an illusion, guys. It's been an illusion. The process of picking the figurehead, it's an illusion.
That's something that really needs to get through people's heads. Is it's an illusion that's done for play. Really, it's done for looks. It's done for charm. It's done to get people to agree to something.
Yeah, when you look at what's in the city of London, it has the Red Shields controlled Bank of England. It has Lloyd's of London, London Stock Exchange, all the British banks, branch offices of 384 foreign banks, 70 USA banks. You got, of course, the newspaper and publishing monopolies again that are going to tell us what we have to think. And of course, you have also the headquarters of worldwide Freemasonry, and the headquarters for the worldwide money cartel known as the Crown. Yes. Control, again, through politics. Control through religious beliefs. Anything to get people to give their power away.
Mm-hmm. Right, and even just the simple act of going to school starts to make you a little battery for their corporations and their industries.
Yeah, because it's the indoctrination into the system, and that's why it's mandatory. You must attend the indoctrination.
Yes, you must attend or go to jail.
Exactly. Interesting, but this is just something that I think I was taking for granted that 90% of the people out there would know, but in reality, probably only 9% maybe understand this.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people who watch this channel are going to know, but what's beautiful is we have a lot of new people coming in.
Yes. So it's time to wake up, smell the coffee, and recognize the illusion that's pulled right in front of our eyes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Make sure you guys are subscribed. Thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. If you need to reach us, it's EEARTS at protonmail.com or evolutionaryenergyarts at gmail.com. As always, guys, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.